Well, welcome back to another episode of David Up2Speed. I'm your host, David Correa, and I am both thrilled and trying to maintain my composure because I am sitting today with a legend, someone who's graced our screens, sung the soundtrack to our lives, is a renowned stage performer and actor about to return to the Broadway stage in the revival of The Wiz. And somehow she still finds time to take care of causes that she's really passionate about. From her work with those that are facing housing insecurity to her advocacy for the LGBTQ plus community, her fans can always depend on her being there because she has said absolutely not to fear and absolutely yes to believing in herself. The incomparable, the incredible Deborah Cox.
Thank you. Hello. What a beautiful
Hello.
intro. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
I am so excited to talk to you. Right off the bat, you're on tour right now. Where are you coming to us from and how is the tour going?
The tour is going great. It's pretty rigorous. We're in San Francisco right now, and we're here for another 3 weeks. Wayne Brady has joined the cast. We have been on the road since August of last year. I've been on the road since August because we had our rehearsals in New York. So it's been a long journey. It's been a fun one that requires a lot of work, a lot of discipline, a lot of focus, but it's been really, really rewarding because honestly, when you see the audiences, when you hear the audiences, when you meet people backstage and you meet people that are, standing in line to get their playbill signed, it makes it all worth it, because people are leaving with something very positive from the show.
You are not just starring as the magical Glinda. You also are co-producer with your husband, LaSalle Stevens.
Yes.
How did you find your way back to The Wiz? Why now?
I found my way through Shelley Williams, who is the director. She had called me and asked if I had any interest in reading and being in the workshop. And I said, absolutely, yes. I was in New York. We did the 2-week workshop, and you just know when there's synergy, when there's a real connection with the cast. There was an instant chemistry. We all just had a real personal connection with the story and with the show. I knew what was going to be required, and I wanted to dive in. I wanted to be a part of something that was classic. I wanted to be a part of reimagining this story. And I love the idea of being a part of the original cast of the revival on Broadway, creating a new Glinda for a new generation. That was intriguing to me. And so that's why I came on board. And co-producing was part of that too. I wanted to not just be involved on stage, but I wanted to be involved behind the scenes, investing time and money and efforts to really make sure that the vision of the show was what we all hope it to be, and that is to be a success.
You talk about re-envisioning a classic and the role of
Yes.
Glinda. It is such like I said, it's a magical role. Did you look to Lena Horne or to Dee Dee Bridgewater when you were preparing for this role?
Absolutely. I've never seen the original Broadway show, so I was able to look on YouTube and see just the tone, what they were trying to convey and what the portrayal was of each character in the show. And then obviously I was impacted greatly by the movie when I saw that as a kid. It was just seeing people that looked like me, that had the same skin tone as me in this fantasy world, and then seeing these recording artists perform and go outside of themselves, and being inspired by Lena Horne, all of her work and her legacy of work that she's left behind for us to just be inspired by, was really moving, and really was a no-brainer for me when it came time for me to reinterpret the song.
I mean, I hear you because when I saw the movie for the first time, I was taken to a completely different place, and it has some of the best musical music that I've ever
Oh
heard.
yeah, the songs are incredible. The
So
songs
good.
are incredible. I had an opportunity during the pandemic to speak closely with the original Dorothy, Stephanie Mills, and we had a really great in-depth conversation about her experience on Broadway, her first, this role being such a groundbreaking role for her. And, we related so much to each other because she later went on into the recording industry, where my path was in reverse. I ended up getting a recording deal before going on to the Broadway stage. So there were a lot of things that we were able to talk about and relate to, and it was great that, where I was able to just have that input as well, because a lot of people don't know that there's no real, manual to this thing. You just kind of take opportunities as they come along. You meet people along the way that also help create opportunities for you and believe in your ability. And a lot of that is my own journey. When I sing that song every night, I really am singing a mantra that I've had for so long and for so many years.
When you talk about that song, um, that's an overall theme in the musical, is believing in
Yes,
yourself. And you're someone that clearly has, and I'm sure you've had struggles like the rest of us, but you've clearly believed in yourself enough. Congratulations, you were recently inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame, making history as the
yes.
first Black woman to do so. Um, what would you say to your fans who may be struggling to believe in themselves, that look to you for inspiration?
I would say that you have to find that spark and keep feeding that spark inside of you that propels you to go and do something that might be so scary. You're going to find yourself like in these spaces where you're like, gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here. So that's where you have to like lean on your own instincts, go with your gut. And I would, tell anybody, just, explore, find ways to explore even the opportunity that you're in, find other ways of expressing yourself, because I found that was how I found my niche in this industry. I wanted to be a recording artist, but I also wanted to be fulfilled with the music that I was recording and what I was doing. And so at the time, you know, doing a remix to a ballad was not what you generally did, but I found, you know, some creative freedom in being able to do that, having a ballad version on the R&B charts and then having a dance version that would rock in the clubs as well. I mean, that to me was something different and something that was unique. And so I just built on that. I just built on that very thing that people would, turn their nose up, at me performing in a club at 5 in the morning. I was young in my 20s, like that's cool. you know, uh, you know what I mean? So now that I'm older, I find that all of the groundwork that has been laid over the years and years of being in different aspects of the business, it's served me. It's really served me in a way that I can be in any situation and not be fearful of it because I've kind of been in every scenario.
And you're no stranger to Broadway either.
Right.
This is your third run, I believe, correct?
This is my third time on Broadway. I am so excited about that. The third time. I've been on the Broadway stage 3 times. Like, you know what I mean? And look how long it's taken. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the reality of where we are in the grand scheme of things. We're seeing people win Academy Awards 30 and 40 and 50 years later, people of color.
Hmm.
Okay? So that's why I I don't take this situation lightly and I don't take it for granted because I know that it took 50 years to get here. The first revival on Broadway, 50 years. It's very telling of the amount of projects that we have to choose from as a person of color in this industry.
I am going to rewatch this interview 1,000 times just for these nuggets of inspiration that you've given, because I think we're all constantly on a journey and evolving and trying to find our way and our path, especially as people of color, trying to see ourselves represented. I mean, I always say growing up, all I had was Wilson Cruz, and that was it.
Right.
But I also had folks like you, because you have been absolutely incredibly talented. We all love you for your voice and your music. And yes, I could be listening to your ballads one moment, and then I could be in the club dancing to a remix of it a
Yes.
little bit later. But you've been such an unapologetic advocate for the LGBTQ plus community. Why?
Because I don't understand what the big deal is when it comes to loving someone. I don't know what the big deal. I don't know why this ruffles so many people's feathers, that people want to live and love each other and have a companion and have someone, have a life partner. I don't I don't I don't I don't understand that. That's not love. That's not God's love. That is just not being a loving, kind individual. So it's always made me very perplexed and angry. I really, quite honestly, don't think it's anyone else's business. You know, mind your business.
Well, your LGBTQ plus fans thank you for it. And I remember you and I have worked together in the past in a different capacity. You co-headlined with Patti LaBelle in 2017, where it got rained out, and then we were able to bring
Got
you back
rained,
on. It
but then I got a chance to sing with Patty.
was great.
Oh my gosh, that was a moment. That was a moment.
And then in 2019, you shut down Times Square for World
For
Pride.
World Pride.
And I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because our mutual friend Mark, I called him late one night. I was in Canada actually in a club,
Were
and
you?
one of your songs
Oh
came
my
on,
gosh.
and I said, "That's who we need to book for World Pride. We need Deborah Cox," because the club
Wow.
went wild.
Wow.
And then we knew that you were going to be across from the Palace Theater, and I'm gonna
Yes.
just spill my geekness here, because I was like, Aida is my favorite musical of all time. She's
Yes.
going to be directly in front of the Palace Theater. And then you sang Easy as Life during the World Pride Closing
Mm,
Ceremony.
mm.
Forget it. Just throw everything away. It made my life.
That was a really monumental moment. That was a big, 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 it was a big moment for me because it really was full circle. It was an opportunity to stare and look out at that audience, thousands of people in the middle of Times Square. I'd never seen Times Square ever like that. I was staring at the very theater that I performed my very first Broadway show, singing to the fans that had fueled me years and years and years and years and showed me so much love with no matter what project I decided to do. And then sing, I just happened to sing a song that was remixed from that show, that had never been done before. And when you get the permission from the Elton John, Sir Elton and Tim Rice, and they allow you to go and remix their song, like it was like, oh, okay. And Tony Moran was like, we're all like, okay, let's go, let's just go record it before they change their mind. But it became just like a really incredible moment in my career, and I think back to that performance a lot. It was really, really special.
Oh, I was front and center, just going, I don't have to do anything else after this.
That's amazing. That was fun.
Well, thank you again for being here. This is David Up to Speed, so I'd love to do a quick speed round with you.
Oh, yes.
Ask you a few questions, and first thing
Sure.
that pops up. So, first one, who are you listening to on repeat right now?
Funny, I've been listening to, there's a jazz compilation of Lena, Ella, Sarah that I listen to throughout the day, just again for inspiration, because you know, Glinda has an air of jazz about her. So I always keep that in my subconscious.
If there was one iconic riff from any song, any artist that you're like, wow, that is the riff of all time, what would you think that would be?
So won't you dance?
Yes,
You know where that's from. So
I
won't you
do.
dance?
I
I don't
also
know
saw you in
why.
Jersey in that one too. Look, I've been
Yes.
everywhere.
Oh my God. I was living my childhood dream doing that show, quite honestly. It was the hardest show I'd ever done, but it was my way of paying homage to the incredible Whitney Houston. So I will always love that show, no matter how grueling and taxing it was on me, physically and vocally. It gave me an opportunity to really sing that catalog
Mhm.
with my soul, you know? And that's one of my favorite. I don't know why. It's just one of those riffs, and I want to dance with somebody that that makes me chuckle every time. So won't you
Oh,
dance?
so good, so good. And you were fantastic at it. If there was a
Thank
voice
you.
that could handle that show, it was you.
Thank you.
Now you've played Broadway, Aida, Jekyll and Hyde, now The Wiz. What role would you want to play on Broadway that you haven't played yet?
Different shows for different reasons. And I say that because sometimes there's a show that has great music, but the role isn't always there for someone like me to perform, which is why I say we need more. We need more writers to write more stories, and there's so many more stories to tell. I have so many favorites that it's hard to even narrow it down to just one role. Like
Broadway
there's so
performer.
many great songs in, like, you know, Hamilton, great songs, but those are sung by Burr. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Hey,
so
shake it up.
right. And then there's amazing songs in Evita, but if it, you know what I mean? And then there's
Right.
like incredible songs. So it just I'm a music lover. And so I think that has been the one thing for me that has been consistent. The music has to speak to me. And in The Wiz, the music resonates and really
Mhm.
speaks to me. So that's why I've chose to do this role at this time. So who knows what the next one will be?
Sounds like it might be a Broadway musical review.
Ah, there we go.
If you
Hmm.
could duet with a current artist today, who would it be?
I love that both of these artists are still around. I love Shirley Bassey. I know people are gonna be like, "What?" I love Shirley Bassey. I love Gladys Knight. I've already done a duet with one of my absolute favorites, and same script, different cast with Whitney Houston was the creme de la
Everything.
creme, you know? Yeah,
Hmm.
cherry on top. That was everything.
Anything you want to share that we didn't cover for folks about the show or any other projects you're working on?
My rosé that just launched in February last year, and it's been so great to be a part of the process as an entrepreneur, you know, to go to the vineyard to see how the grapes and how they harvest and how they like cultivate everything, and just, you know, it's been a real learning process, but it's something that's a passion now, you know what I mean? And it fuels that other side, that other creative side. So I'm really, really thrilled about it. It's an organic rosé named after my three kids. I combined their names and called it Kazaisu. And it's a dry, organic, not too sweet rosé that can be paired with any meal. And we've had tastings before the show. We'll be releasing it in Canada as well, and in the Caribbean later this year. So I'm really thrilled about just how that business has been building, and the support that we've gotten there.
That's fantastic. Well, congratulations on
Next time we'll
everything
have
that
to
you're
have a
doing.
glass together.
Yes, I will be there on March 29th and we'll
All
cheers
right.
to the big opening.
Wonderful.
Thank you again. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.